In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Imperial Stormtrooper for the Vintage Collection, and this is the Stormtrooper that comes with the Carbon Freezing Chamber set that was released about 5 or 6 years ago now at this point. Fairly certain he's VC 171. So I don't have the Carbon Freezing Chamber set at all. I do hope to get that at some point. I actually got the Stormtrooper from Tungori at the time it was released. I thought at the time this was kind of an upgrade of a Stormtrooper. We did have the Rogue One Stormtrooper at this point, but we didn't really have a definitive original trilogy one. So this was the most updated one up to that point. And of course, eventually we did end up getting this guy. But this was still a nice Stormtrooper for the time. It's not perfect. I would say the biggest critique I can make with it is that he doesn't really have a neck at all. The helmet just doesn't really work too well with the main body here. And you could tell that the two parts really weren't meant to go together, but Hasbro made it work. So that's probably the main thing I would change about it. Other than that, he's still pretty much a perfect Stormtrooper. He hasn't yelled at all up to this point, which I appreciate a lot. And yeah. For the most part, he is, well, he's pretty much all just kit bash in a way. So he's borrowing the body, I think, from the VC-41 Stormtrooper. Which is, yeah, sample of these guys right here. Yeah, that's definitely reutilizing the body, I think. But they might have modified the torso joint there. It's hard to tell. And that's probably about similar. So yeah, it's pretty much just borrowing the body from VC-41 here. And then it is utilizing the helmet from the Rogue One Stormtrooper, which was borrowed from the 5POA Stormtrooper. Yeah, I think the helmet for this is a little too small for the body there. And this was still during the time where I think Hasbro was kind of hesitant about going all in on new tooling. They were still kind of scoping out the market, and TVC 2.0 hadn't really taken off still at this point. It was just on the cusp of doing that. I don't think Hasbro was totally convinced yet, so a lot of the action figures ended up being kit bashes and repaints, things like that, just to test the waters. And plus, this was still during the time where I think Hasbro was kind of refraining from making original trilogy and prequel trilogy characters, and they were focusing just on Rogue One, Solo, sequel trilogy, eras like that. It's still a great Stormtrooper mold, though, even after all these years. I know some people probably disagree with me, but he's still very well articulated, and you can get him in most of the poses you want him in. So he does have the, yeah, that's on a ball joint there, I think. And then the hinged shoulders, which go way past 90. Then the hinged elbows, which go past 90 as well. And then swivel wrists, joint at the torso. He does have hinged hips. Then hinged knees. Yeah. Then hinged ankles as well. So still pretty good articulation after all this time. And you can get him in most poses. In terms of accessories, he's really light. He has an E11, and it's one of the newer E11s, which is kind of a hindrance for this action figure because he has the holster, but the holster is for the old style E11, so it doesn't really work. I guess you can try and finesse it in there, but might potentially tear the holster a little bit, or maybe even deform the gun. or deform the blaster in some way. So he pretty much has to hold on to it. And one thing I did want to see here real quick, since it's basically reutilizing the head from the Rogue One Trooper. I mentioned it's on a ballpoint. I wonder if Hasbro kind of modified that a little bit. And you can see this is on the barbell here. Oh, and here it was on the ballpoint, I think. Yeah. So they did modify the head a little bit. That's pretty much all I can tell you about the Empire Strikes Back Stormtrooper here. Would I recommend them for your collection? Of course, there's always a lot of Stormtroopers to choose from these days, so it's probably not one that's going to be high on most priority lists for people. But it's still a really good one. I think it's one of the best Stormtroopers you can get. As I said, someday I do hope to get the carbon freezing chamber set, so whenever that time comes, I'll be sure to feature this Stormtrooper yet again. I do hope to get maybe 2 sets, because I think it's one of those sets where you need at least 2 in order to complete the scene. But we'll see what the future holds. But I'm just happy to have at least one of these guys in my collection. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for playing more in the future. There's always more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support, and check out the links in the description if you haven't done so already. And as always, thanks for watching.